Good evening and welcome to the, hello, is this the, okay. Welcome to the Personnel Committee meeting. Today is Monday, July 21st. It is now 6:22 p.m. Voting members present, we have myself, Councilor Stephanie Infante, Chair of the committee. To my left, the Vice Chair, Councilor Wendy Luzon. To my right, Councilor Fidelina Santiago. And I believe Councilor Ana Levy will be joining us shortly via Zoom. I also want to take this opportunity to wish Councilor Levy a very, very happy birthday, and I'm hoping that she's enjoying her times with her family. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2022, this meeting of the Personnel Committee is being conducted both in person and via remote participation. A reminder that persons who would like to listen or view this meeting while in progress may either attend here at the City Council chambers or use our Facebook or YouTube channels to view online. At this point, can you please join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Councilors, can I have a motion to approve the minutes from our May 12th meeting?
Motion to approve.
Motion has been made by Councilor Santiago. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Luzon. Discussion on the minutes. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes have it. Councilors, we have only one agenda item today. We have, for new business, item 300-25, the confirmation to appoint Patrick Delaney as fire chief, presented to us by Mayor DePena, and we also have our acting personnel director. I know you're director, but I still like to call you Attorney Garcia. Attorney Garcia here with us. Attorney, you have the floor.
Thank you. So not much introduction is needed for our acting fire chief. He's been serving the city for decades. And with that, I'll leave you with him.
Nope, and we also have Councilor Levy just joined us. Councilor Levy, welcome.
Good evening, Madam Chair, councilors.
So tell us, I mean, we have worked with you. Tell us about something that we probably don't know about you. Tell the public that doesn't know you or haven't worked with you, who you are, why are you the best fit for this position, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, so my name's Patrick Delaney. I'm born and raised in the city of Lawrence. Went to the Lawrence school system, went to Lawrence High School. Since I got out of high school, I've worked in the community of Lawrence probably for the last 35 years. Before I got on the fire department, working my way through college, I worked in the school system, substitute teacher, long-term, been in all the schools, worked every grade, every school I've been in. I also worked at the summers working through, I worked for the state at the state pools, everything in the community, did a lot of coaching at Lawrence High. Went to Salem State, and then I was gonna really start student teaching. I have a long history of service in the fire department. I'm a third generation. My father was 42 years in the city of Boston. My brother worked 30 years in the city of Lawrence. My nephew, my grandfather, I have approximately 15 to 17 first relatives around Chelsea and Everett, so we have a long history in the fire service. I really never thought it would be possible. You take an exam. I didn't get on till I was 28 years old, and at that time I was gonna start, student teaching, and I had to make a choice, the fire service or starting to, do my teaching, student teaching. And I was lucky enough to get on the Lawrence Fire Department. And since the first day, I made a promise to myself that I would never complain about something that I had to do in the fire service. We all have challenging days. we all have frustrating days, but I think I've kept that promise, you know, of not complaining and having one of the best jobs that we have in the city of Lawrence, in the world, being a firefighter. I've been a firefighter. I was lucky enough to get on at that time, and about 7, 8 years in, I was talked into taking a promotional exam. I was lucky enough to become a lieutenant. I served in a lieutenant position about 7 to 8 years, took the captain's exam. I was lucky enough to get appointed to the captain exam. Recently, I took the deputy's exam, and we had 11 applicants from Lawrence, and I scored top on the deputy's exam. And, you know, when this opportunity came up, I really wanted to go after it because I think of the community, the people in the city of Lawrence. I love the community. I had the great pleasure of being in fire prevention for the last 8 years. That really gets you to know the people in the community. I got here a little bit early today, and I decided to take a walk. I took a walk down Essex Street, and I just talked to a couple people, asking them what they think about our community, what are some of the best things that they like. One gentleman said that because of the fire service, the police department. A couple other people said the people in the community, and that's really, you know, all as I know is the city of Lawrence. All my jobs have been with the city of Lawrence, has been with the community in Lawrence. I love the community. I think I could wholeheartedly make a difference in the community. I have a great fire department. You have a great fire department. We have a great fire department, and it's because our members really, really care, and they put their heart and their soul into being firefighters. And that's what's important when I say I'm a third-generation firefighter. I think I know the sacrifices that it takes to be a fireman. You know, you miss some holidays, you sacrifice sometimes your body, you sacrifice times with your family, but I also understand the difference that you can make in a community. And I believe the Lawrence Fire Department has done a great job in the city of Lawrence, and I think in my last role, I worked hand in hand with Chief Moriarty. I was, you know, always an investigator, so probably for the last 6, 7, 8 years, anytime that there was a structure fire, you know, I've been to 80% of the fires we've had in the city of Lawrence. I've gained a lot of knowledge with the management, with the executive side. I've worked with the planning board, the licensing board, the zoning board, inspectional services. I've formed a lot of relationships with a lot of communities, the state police, the Lawrence Police Department, the district attorney's office. I taught the Juvenile Fire Setters Intervention Program for the last 20 years. We haven't really done one in the last 2 years or so, and that's usually a lack of funding. We're trying to, you know, the district attorney's office really wants to get that program back up and running. And I guess, you know, I could probably sit up here for a while speaking of why I love the city of Lawrence, why I love the fire department, and the changes that I think that we could make as a community.
Thank you. Give me a second, Counselor, sorry. I just for the HR department, I see here that we have a memo from the mayor. Oh, I'm sorry, it's from Acting Chief Delaney, this one right here. I just want to make sure that everybody knows provisional is no longer part of our code. We actually passed that last year from the city council, and it was after the situation with the Lawrence Police Department. I was actually the sponsor of that, so just make sure, there's no more provisional. It's all acting that need to come in every 90 days to get renewed. So I just want to make sure
So
that.
those words, just for clarification, those words can't be interchangeable.
No.
Because of civil service reasons.
Oh,
So
okay.
civil service requires, in order for any person in
Got
an
it, okay.
acting capacity, which
Got
is
it.
the same thing as provisional,
Got it.
In order for the member to get their credits towards civil service, you need to have this particular, word in front of the title.
How does that work then when the chief position is not under civil service in our community?
Because his position, so right now he's in an acting or provisional capacity. However, he's a captain. So for retirement and for civil service purposes, he has to have that in front of it. Because if he were not to get the job, let's say, for example,
Yeah.
he would then come down to be a captain. However, he does get credit for civil service when he retires.
Okay, I'm gonna do my research and double check that. I think provisional and acting is the same thing, but I just wanna make sure that we
Civil
understand
service
here.
It's no, and I
Yeah,
understand
okay.
that under the charter, it's an acting position. I completely understand that, but for civil services, because we had this issue before.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Director.
Absolutely.
Attorney. Counselor Luzon.
It's okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And it's for the Director Garcia.
I might just stay up here.
Yes, you should. I like the Director.
Good, how are you?
Could you please walk us through the process of this process? When this was published, when the advertisement was published, how many candidates? Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I'm used to mine's that. Okay, so, thank you, Director. Please, walk us through the process when this position was advertised, how many candidates were interviewed, how many people applied, and how many candidates were interviewed?
Absolutely. So the position was posted on May 2nd of 2025. It closed 12 days afterwards on May 14th of 2025. And about, if I remember, 4 or 5 applied in total. And 4 were, all of them actually, all of the candidates were scheduled for interviews. One of the candidates at the interview withdrew their application. So all of the candidates were interviewed thereafter.
Any candidates from the fire department locally?
Yes, one of the one that withdrew was local, and there was another candidate as well that was local as well.
Okay, so if that's gonna take me to my next question to you, Madam Chair. In the fire department, how is the process? Is that similar to the police department? You become a captain and then you have a chance to, apply for, Thank you. Sorry. So that will take me to the next question. In the fire department, how does it work? Do you become a captain, and then are you in line to become the chief?
Well,
Or how does
anyone
it
can
work?
apply. Anyone
Okay.
can apply to become a chief. So in the fire department, it's captains, deputy chiefs, and then the chief. Unlike the police department where it's captains and then just the chief. So there's 5, if I'm not mistaken, please correct me, there are 5 deputy chiefs. Now, like I said, anyone is entitled to apply.
So we just completely skipped over the 5 deputy chiefs that should have,
The 5 other deputy chiefs did not apply. And
one
in-
did.
And in fact, yes.
One did.
One, and he was not chosen. And again, the appointing authority is the mayor's office. So it's.
So this is my issue with this administration. And I'm sorry to interrupt you, Councilor Luzon. It has been known that the mayor has stated that this position was promised. It has been said by the mayor. We have skipped over people that have prepared for this position. And now we have a great candidate in front of us. I'm only speaking as one individual. I'm struggling. I don't even know what decision I'm going to take on this because we have one great candidate, but then I also know the background story of this, which is not okay.
So I can't speak as to what the mayor has said or what has not said, because I haven't been privy to what he has said. But I can tell you, like you just said, that you have an excellent candidate in front of you.
We do. Councilor Luzon.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. So, And it's concerning, because yes, we have a great candidate in front of us, but then the process is tainted due to what Madam Chair just mentioned, not in details, but okay. I'm gonna have to move my microphone. Okay, no, you
Used
don't
'cause
have to.
you're so
No,
used to that.
You don't have to. I'm used to that one. So, yes, what I'm saying here is that, yes, we have a great candidate in front of us, and then the process that it tends to happen doesn't say much, doesn't add to what it's supposed to. To bring clarity.
I can tell you that the process that we followed is standard practice throughout the Commonwealth. You post a position, the candidates, once the list is closed, the candidates go in front of the mayor's office. The mayor's office has the right to determine which one, based on those resumes and the cover letters, which one he wants to interview. In this case, he interviewed all of the candidates. They all had the opportunity to speak to the appointing authority, and they were all asked standard questions. Every single one of the candidates, because I was there during the interviews, all of the candidates were asked the exact same questions that I composed.
Thank you, Director. And unfortunately, I'm going to disagree with what you just stated. Thank you for explaining that. But also, it looks like, in my opinion, we created a process knowing who's going to be the final candidate. And I know the mayor's in his right to do that. And believe me, we have a great candidate in front of us. But unfortunately, we tend to choose the other way around and make things more difficult for us. But that's not going to be the point. I'm trying to bring clarity to the process. And you're right when you said the mayor is the appointed authority. He has the right to do that based on our city charter, may I say? Yes, he does. But on the other hand, you have people applying for a position, knowing that they're not going to get selected. Just my personal
Well
opinion.
qualified, sometimes
Yeah.
even more qualified, and this is just all across the board.
Not specifically with this
Yeah,
case.
across the board, because this is not the first time we have encountered a similar situation.
That will take me to the next question. Knowing what, and I know that the director explained that they follow a process, let's put it like that. Is the union okay by the administration, I'm not going to say skipping, but not paying attention to the deputies in lines? Is the union okay with that?
Well, in fact, the union actually had a press release where they stated, and they requested that no one else apply for the position, given the fact that Chief Delaney was going to be in an acting position and that he was going to apply for the position as well. So that was a press release that was sent out via, I personally saw it on Facebook.
Do we have a copy of the press release?
I do not have that.
Chief Delaney, do we have a copy? No.
And
I could shed a little bit of light on the process.
so, I'm sorry, before we get to you, Acting Chief, I also want to point out, although that's great, the new president of the union, from my understanding, is very close to the Acting Chief. So that also, again, I do my research. When I come to these meetings, I make sure that I do my research. A press release is great, but is it 100% credible, in my opinion? I
Well,
don't know.
If he were to be acting outside of the scope of his union, he would be having some very, very serious issues if the members of his union were not in agreement with that press release.
And that, thank you for mentioning that. That is what I want to bring to the table, if the union is okay with this candidate, knowing that we skip, and I'm going, well, the administration, because I'm not part of the administration, skip the.
Mr. President,
Counselor Levy, we're going to let Counselor
Thank you.
Luzon finish, and then I'll call you next.
And her microphone is very. So, yes, so that was going to be the point. If the union is okay with the process that Chief Delaney went through, and the other candidates. That's what I have for now, Madam Chair.
Counselor Levy?
Thank you, Council President, through you. Okay, so I want to thank you, Acting Chief Delaney, and I want to say, that he's been doing a very great job. And for everything that I've been here, I've been hearing good things about him. So right now I'm voting. Like I said, my time was completely short, and I want to say that I'm in favor to vote and make a motion to send it with favor recommendation. Hello. Did you hear me?
This item as a favorable recommendation.
Sorry, I'm not gonna recognize that motion because I have more questions. I don't know if anyone else has more questions, but I certainly have more questions pertaining to this item.
Okay, so anyway, my vote is my vote is in favor, but like I said, my time is very short at this time. And-
Counselor Levy made a motion to send this up as a favorable recommendation to the full council. Is there a second? Seeing none, motion fails.
Okay. But anyway, Council President, to you, my vote is in favor of having him as the new chief for the fire department.
Thank you. Thank you, Counselor Levy.
Okay, bye-bye, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. You have the floor.
Okay, bye.
Okay, so Counselor Levy, any other questions?
I have a comment.
Counselor Santiago.
Yes. I received a few phone calls from this item today, and they asked me about what will happen in this item if it, because the fire department have some special rules. I don't know if it's true, and that's my question, to choose the fire chief. They told me about somebody more qualified, prepared, has to be the fire chief, because they do a process. And I want to know if you have a special process to do that.
Not to my knowledge, that the process for which was used is the process, especially for a chief position, given the fact that the mayor is the appointing authority. So again, the position is posted, it was posted for 12 days. All of the candidates advanced to an interview. One withdrew the day of the interview, and everyone else was interviewed accordingly, with standard questions all throughout the board.
Which, I actually have a comment for that, but I'm going to go into executive session to state that to you, Director, because I think that's more appropriate than, you all set? Okay. My question, so I have another question. I guess it's more of a concern than question, but when we had the acting chief in front of us during the budget season, there was a comment made basically that was like, basically, I'm here to support the administration, whatever they want. My concern is, I'm paraphrasing, I know it's not word for word, and I'm seeing you shake your head, so I'm paraphrasing here. But my concern with this is, we have one of our firefighter members running for mayor. How are you going to ensure that your employee, as a fire employee, is protected from this administration just because this individual is running against your boss? How will you handle that?
So, the member that we have running for mayor is a very good friend, and he's been on the fire service for the last 30-so years. I've worked with him for a number of years, and the way I do that is the way I do everything, is with integrity. The fire department, you know, we should be beyond reproach, okay? We've been doing this a long time, and we built ourselves up a reputation over the years of how we deal with people, how we deal with situations, and how we take care of each other, and we take care of this community. If you would allow me, Madam Chair, I could step back a little bit and shed some light onto the process of how it works for hiring. So civil service, everything's under civil service, whether you're a lieutenant, you're a captain, you're a deputy. Those are civil service positions. So the way it goes, if you're gonna be a deputy, you have to have 4 captains apply for the deputy's exam. What happened this year is we didn't have 4 apply, we had 3. When that happens, it opens up to the lowest next thing would be lieutenants.
Right,
So this year for the deputy's exam, we couldn't get 4 captains to apply, therefore it went out to the lieutenants. A couple captains ended up applying after, so we had 11 candidates take the deputy's exam that I did top. When 15 years ago approximately, the fire chief's job was taken out of civil service. What that did when we took it out of civil service, usually the process would have been, if it's a civil service position, you would have a test, you would have an exam for the chief's job. And then again, there would be 4 deputies. If all of them didn't apply, which maybe it was only 1, it would have been opened up to captains. And then we would have had an exam, and then the scores would have come out. You study for a year, you study for 2 years, and then it would have been, you know, an exam component. When Lawrence decided to take the job out of civil service, what it really did, now you go to the qualifications for a job for a fire chief that are, you know, they are Massachusetts recommendations. One of them being an emergency medical technician, a high school diploma, and then there's an education experience. A lieutenant could become the chief in this, and then how we do it. A firefighter would be eligible to be the chief in the way that this goes. Once the city of Lawrence took it out of civil service, it took the exam component out of it. So technically, a lieutenant, a firefighter would be able to be the chief. One of the things that I do have is I have credentialing from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, from the Fire Service Commission, with my name, has demonstrated the required fire service experience, education, and certification is hereby awarded accreditation as fire chief in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Again, I've been doing this for a long time. I have been a fire officer for 17, 18 years. I think my record in the community speaks for itself. If you ask anybody in the community how we assist them, I mean, the fire department, we like to have a record as strict but fair. And I think over my 26 years, especially in the last 8 years as a captain and in fire prevention, I think I've proven my track record in the city of how I go about and I treat people, that we treat people, and I think that's probably, if anything that I had an advantage over, it was probably being out in the community and being part of the licensing board, the zoning board, the planning board, developing the relationship with the Lawrence Police, the state police, an investigator, doing all those things. I wouldn't feel right taking a job if I didn't have it on merit alone. And I apologize, Madam Chair, but I would never say that I do stuff for the administration, that I do anything the administration. One of the things that is very important is that I have a duty to protect the citizens, and that's what I'm gonna do, is protect the citizens. I'm not gonna, do something unsafe or unjust, unfair to this community just because a city councilor wants, somebody in government wants. The fire service, we're far beyond that. We we lead by our record. And I think that's what I've done over the last 26 years. I think I've led by my record. I think I am qualified. I think I could do a good job. There's a lot of other members in the fire service, in the Lawrence Fire Department, that could do a great job. It takes a lot to be able to put yourself out there and want this type of job, because it isn't easy. It's I enjoy it, but it's very time-consuming. It's a lot of responsibility, and it comes with a lot of weight. I think I'm in a good place in my life to accept this job as my kids are a little bit older, and I have the ability to give this job what it really needs, which is a lot of time, which is a lot of effort, and that time and an effort is going to be spent trying to improve our fire department, trying to improve those community relationships that I have done over the past, my past career, but more that I've been in fire prevention in the last 8 years. I honestly think my record speaks for myself, and I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. I just want to make sure, as the chair of the Personnel Committee, I want to make sure that employees are not affected, no matter what decision they make outside of their job. Everyone should feel comfortable within their work environment, and I want to make sure that people are able to go to their, in your case, because you're in front of it, to their fire chief if something is not right,
Yes.
something, is bothering them, and that's across the board. So I felt it was important to ask that, because
Sure.
it's a reality that we're currently living. It's election season, so I just want to make sure
Sure.
that we cover the basis.
I did speak to firefighter Gonzalez the other day. He is a member of our fire department. I've worked with him over at Ladder 4 for years and years. This is about 20 years ago. He's an excellent firefighter, and again, he's putting himself out there to to try something new, and we respect that as a fire department. And I did have a conversation and said anything that he needs in the fire department, as I told all our members, my door is always open.
And now
As-
I'm sorry to interrupt, now
That's
there's
okay.
the flip side to that, right? Because we wouldn't be, well, I'm gonna speak for myself, I wouldn't be doing my job as a counselor if I
Sure.
don't cover all the bases. Now, the flip side to this is, say whether this particular individual or any individuals end up doing something they're not supposed to be doing on duty, on the job, whether if it's campaigning or whatever personal thing that they're doing, how will you address that as the fire chief?
Well, I think the union has been, they've had somebody come in and really go over the rules. One thing that the union has going from is the Professional Firefighters of Massachusetts, and I believe they had somebody come in to speak of all the rules, because when you're a firefighter, you're working for the city and you're running for a position of mayor, there's a lot of things that not only can they do, but there's a lot of other things that could spoil it a little bit for them or tarnish it for things that they do. So one of the things the union did is they had somebody come in and they explained the rules of engagement very, very clearly. And also, it would be like any other member that any infraction, we do progressive discipline. Progressive discipline, I've looked at our policies, and it's something that possibly needs to be rewritten. I've studied it. I have a draft ready for just that, for progressive discipline. Your first time you get a verbal warning. The second time would be, that verbal warning's documented. The second one would be a verbal written warning. The third one be like an emergency action plan for your job. The fourth would be a temporary suspension. Fifth time, you lose your job. There's a couple progressive discipline templates out there and thoughts of it, and some have 4 steps, some have 5 steps. I have to speak to some of my team and get their input and see which one we go with. And with progressive discipline, it's always stated that if the infraction, the whatever you do wrong is so bad that you could skip processes. So I think one of the things that everybody knows in the Lawrence Fire Department, that I'm very fair And again, these are lifelong jobs. When you come into the fire service, we come in as young ladies, young men, and before you know it, 20, 25 years go by. But you can't hide for 25 years, for 26 years. People, we're like family, we know each other, so people know the type of person I am, and I've been doing this job for 26 years. And I think I could say if the union had an issue with me becoming the fire chief, this room would be packed with union members stating that. I did have a bunch of people that wanted to come speak on my behalf today, and they were firefighters, they were friends, they were people in the community. For this right here, I decided to tell everybody I didn't want anybody to speak. I wanted to come up here, you know, stand in front of you and answer all your questions. And I think you've all known me for a while, for many years. You've seen me out in the community. You've seen how I treat people. And I think you know what I could do for this community, for this fire department, and that's move it forward. I have a duty, again, to protect the citizens, but I also have a duty to protect our firefighters. Firefighting is a very inherently dangerous job. We need the best tools, we need the best equipment, and that's some of the things I'm gonna strive for. One of the problems in the fire service is change is very hard. So we're very deep in tradition. So the change isn't always easy coming into the modernization. So the trick is to try to blend the old tradition with the new ways, the new equipment, and try to merge it as best as you can. And I have a vision to do that for our fire department and for the community.
Thank you. The next question I have is, I believe it's been well, and correct me if I'm wrong, you definitely will have a better clarification for this, but I believe it's been over 10 years since we've hired a female firefighter.
Yes.
So what are your plans to ensure that there is, to improve that process for aspiring female firefighters?
That goes back to civil service. Number one, I think to do that, we have to recruit female applicants. This hiring process we're doing right now, we've had 20. The last 25, there wasn't a female that we could take because there were not applicants. A lot of females in the city of Lawrence are not taking these jobs, taking the test to become a firefighter. Actually, we had a fire on Platt Court the other night. I met a female EMT, and we had a discussion, and she's on the next list coming up. I invited her over to the firehouse. She came Monday or Tuesday, and I sat with her, and I went over, what she wanted to do as a firefighter. She moved from Dorchester. She lives in Lawrence, and she really wants to become a firefighter. I told her there's anything I could do to help her, and they merged the lists, so she's like number 20, but a lot of these new members are gonna take off the list. There's a lot of members that took jobs in other towns. If I was able to reach her, you need reasons to skip qualified applicants in the civil service exam, but we would take her, and we encourage more female firefighters to take the job. One of our last female firefighters, actually, she ended up leaving for Boston, and she's a deputy chief in the city of Boston at Massport. She's done very, very well for herself. We have a female that is a captain right now, and then we have another female that is out on injured line of duty status. But I think it's about recruiting. We could do that in the high schools. We could do that at Northern Essex. What we do want is get more female applicants, and I know Andover has has a few, Methuen has a few. If we do that, we have to go get them. We have to encourage it and make them want to take the exam. And the bottom line is the city of Lawrence, the girls just aren't taking the exam. The females aren't doing it.
Counselor Luzon?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
I'm also happy to report that we should have one female firefighter going into the academy this time around.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good to know. Well, that was-
Diana works at Fire Alarm right now. She's worked very hard. She's a military veteran, and she is taking the physical abilities test. They're doing the preview tomorrow. Then they're doing the physical abilities test Friday, and Mine was always working, Council. I think you guys had, yeah, the trouble was over there. Mine, I got the green light and it's working.
No, you can go now, right? No power at all? Yeah.
Something. Something. Hello?
Could hear you.
Is yours working? If anyone watching online can just confirm, write a comment that our audio is working, please let us know. Thank you. Okay, we got a confirmation that is working. Now it's working. Can you grab Councilor Luzon, please, Maria? Thank you. Can I have a motion to resume from recess? Motion has been made by Councilor Santiago, seconded by Councilor Luzon. All those in favor say aye. Aye, and the ayes have it. I think were you in the middle of saying something? I forget.
Well, one of the things I'd like to add is, I just got news today that I got enrolled in the Chief Fire Officer exam for the state of, for the academy. It's a very rigorous program. It's 6 months. It's 114 hours. It's very competitive to be able to get into the academy and to get into that class. And I've been selected by the chief's, office of the fire marshal to be one of the lucky, I believe, 2025 that throughout the Commonwealth that are enrolled in that program.
Thank
And
you.
it's very competitive, and I believe I was able to get in there and number one in my position and my merit. And when we put these jobs are lifelong jobs. So it's funny, when we tried to get everything ready, when I looked through my personnel file again today, there's just so much that you develop over the 26 years. I mean, your education, there's a lot of things that stay, but, when you do a resume, it should only be 1 to 2 pages, but most of the firefighters, not just myself, any of the captains, any of the deputies, a lot of the lieutenants, if they were able to list all the trainings, all the certifications, all the things would be handed in, 8, 10-page resumes. So we do our best to shorten them up, and, but I'm glad to say, I just got news today that I've been enrolled and admitted to that program, which is good for the fire department, good for the community, and
Congratulations.
thank you, thank you.
Councilor Santiago.
I would like to know how you will manage the overtime hours and how you will do it when happen is fire in another town and need help from our town, like happen when we need somebody from another town, how you will do it, who can go, who can't go, something.
So that's all built on the mutual aid system. I actually have the 10-alarm run card. We go on alarms, so we go from a working fire to a second alarm to a third alarm. Each time we have 3 apparatus, usually two engines and a ladder coming in, and that's a mutual aid agreement that is through Essex County Fire Chiefs. Since I have some stats since I've been in here, we have received 10, we have went out of town 10 separate times mutual aid. That's a pre-designed agreement. So we've assisted somebody else 10 times. Probably 1 or 2 of our incidents, we've had 10 companies come in to the city of Lawrence. So for mutual aid, it's mutual aid given, mutual aid received. We receive far more mutual aid than is given. And we appreciate those towns such as Lowell when they come down a 3-alarm fire. Andover is constantly in the community. Methuen's in our community. North Andover's in our community. Drake, I think I said before, when you see Georgetown, Peabody, and you see companies like that in Lawrence, you know we're having a busy time. As far as the overtime goes, I've been taking a deep dive into that. Again, there's, number one, if we want to stop the overtime, slow it down, we're never really going to stop it. To slow it down, we need to hire people. We're looking to hire 12 right now. We have 8 open spots. Right now, we have 5 people that are out either long-term sick, injured in the line of duty, or that a lot of our younger members have military equipment. So that number drops it down. We have 24 is our minimum manning, which really we only have 21 firefighters. The deputies in the command position, 2 of them are up at fire alarm, so they don't count to it. So I think I've spoken on the budget before that some of the things we can't control. If we have a 3-alarm fire right now, we're gonna have to call some of our members back. All of these mutual aid trucks that come in, we're gonna have to staff them with at least 1 member that knows the city, that knows where they're going, knows where the hydrants is, knows how to operate. There's some other things that could be done creatively, contractually, that could assist the members, and it could also lower the overtime. It's something that we're taking a deep dive into. Again, I don't do this alone. I have a team that assists me with things, and there's a lot of other members that have been around a while, and a lot of these things that we're bringing up have been, bounced around the kitchen table for a while, but there are creative things that we could do. One of the things when I took over, I guess I never really looked at it, but we don't have 1 cent for public education. We don't have a cent. So if we send anybody out on a Saturday to some of the events that we have to pay that over in overtime. When I came in to this position, the budget was just tightening it up. I didn't have too much of a say. I had a little bit of say, but I'm looking to break things down a lot more, so next time I come up to the council, you'll know exactly where the overtime's going, where the problems are. I'll be looking for, some guidance on what things you think that we could take away. But I can't believe that, in our budget, we don't have $1 for public education. So anytime that somebody has an event and calls and say, could somebody come over? We could send the trucks over, something in the contract. You can't be detailed to a private event, but the members will stop by. But anytime that we want to do an educational component or anything like that, that's coming out of our overtime, and I don't think that should be. I think there should be some money set aside for public education where we could plan and send our members to teach the community. Again, I come from firefighter background, but the last couple of years I come for a prevention background. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound in its weight. Prevention goes a long way. I think one of the reasons why the city of Lawrence hasn't had the fires that we've had 5, 10 years, I think it's because of the education that the city of Lawrence, that the firefighters are doing. The members on the trucks, they're going, every time that we go to a call or we go engage with the community, somebody comes into the firehouse, all our members take that opportunity to educate the city. Our doors are always wide open. Anybody who comes in wants to see the truck, bring their family in. Our doors are always open, and our members are trained. When you see them, engage with them and try to give them some education. Again, one of our biggest things that we speak for is smoke detectors. Smoke detectors save lives. There's some stats out there that there's never really been a large loss of life when you have working smoke detectors. They're made to pick up in the incipient, the very beginning phases of a fire, and that allows people to get out. On Platt Court, I believe that happened when Engine 6's door went up, and again, it was 1 in the morning. When Engine 6 doors goes up and it looks like the sun is out, you know you're behind, they saw the glow from the fire. So they got a little bit of a late start from 911, how fast the fire advanced, but all those people got out of the house from the alert of a smoke detector. Unfortunately, if there's no smoke detectors or that component of education isn't getting out to the community, it's gonna be, it's tough. Right now, we're looking at what happened in Fall River. They had 10 members of their community in assisted living perish in a fire. It wasn't a large inferno. It was the smoke developed. That small, relatively moderate-sized fire ended up pushing a lot of smoke through that building. It's a vulnerable population with assisted living. So is our rooming houses. So is our elderly complexes. I ended up working something out with with inspectional services. We have a meeting tomorrow morning at the firehouse. We're gonna get the building department, inspectional services, and the fire department. We're gonna do some task force. We're gonna break up into teams of 3, and we're hoping to get into every assisted living, Lawrence elderly housing, all of our vulnerable populations. Once we go through that, we do quarterlies in a lot of these buildings, so we're in there already. We're gonna make sure that they're doing everything that they have to do. The governor of Massachusetts just put something out that is mandating that they do a lot of stuff with the safety and things like that. But again, that's prevention is really a big component of stopping things like that before it happens. We don't want a tragedy in the city of Lawrence to that magnitude, so we're gonna go out, we're gonna make sure that everybody has their sprinkler systems checked once a year, like the law says. The fire alarm panels are checked once a year, like the law says, and also that the egresses and people are doing things in a safety-conscious manner, including your emergency lighting. I think you've heard me say before, there's a lot of buildings. We have over 10,000 buildings in the city. It's tough for us to get them in all of them. It's really incumbent on the owner, when you own a building, to make sure that your services are really protected. But when we find out, if we don't have the members or we don't go into somebody's building, they don't check their sprinkler for the last 5 years. And they shouldn't wait for us to be coming along and saying, hey, you haven't checked your sprinkler like the law says every year. So, sorry for rambling, those are just some of my ideas. Yes.
Thank you for your answer, but I have another question. It's about the building department. For example, we have in District A and Howard Street, we have a lot of issue in this building in the fire department building. And I was talking with somebody there, with some firefighter, and they said they reported, but they don't have like money to do the repair. And really that's an issue, because
Yeah.
if the public building, and you know, for the public person are working really hard, and they are not comfortable to do the job,
Yeah.
how they can help another people.
I agree. Most of our stations are aging. The ones on the hills, Prospect Hill and Tower Hill, they're over 120, 125 years old. Our members keep them up they do rigorous cleaning. Every morning, we do spring cleaning. They make sure everything is ready to go. Everybody has a duty in the morning to make sure if it's clean. You're welcome to come to any of our stations. They're very clean. If it was up to us, we'd be able to do the repairs and be able to do the work, but you'd be doing something that another union would be doing. So we can only do so much ourselves, so we do have to rely on the DPW and stuff like that. My experience is, when we rely on the DPW, they do an excellent job. Our garage doors are constantly, breaking. We have other issues. When we ask them to fix something, whether it's our heating system, our cooling system, one of our doors break, they're very responsive. So it's the DPW, I believe, that's in charge of the buildings, but they communicate with us very well, and they do a great job, and I'd invite you to come to any of our firehouses and check it out. And that's one of the things that we should be looking to is, in the Central Firehouse, we have a brand-new police station. We're proud of them. We're proud of that building. It's beautiful. I know maybe we can get some help, but it's probably time that we, in the next 5-10 years, we look into building a new firehouse and try to keep those other ones that we have. Again, they're 125 years old. The woodwork, everything, they're really in good shape. We go to some other communities, a mutual aid, and some of the stations that we see in other communities are very nice. We go to some communities where we can't get how the men and women, are living in those places. But for the most part, I believe our buildings are in good shape. And
Okay, when I said the building, I was right, but I want to express something about the yard as well. They have to do some pavement because they have many holes. I am talking about the Howard station.
Yep.
And they need to do some pavement around the yard. They have, the yard is not in the best condition that I know.
Yeah,
But I was talking about if they can get some grant or they don't, because they don't have money.
Yeah, I'll communicate with the captain of that station. Usually, if there's any problems or real concerns, the captain of the station will email me. The last email I got from the captain of that station, they were looking for a new flag, and the email before that, they were looking for some flowers for Memorial Day, which we're working on get them. So I can be honest with you, I'm not aware of any grave concerns in our Howard Street Engine 6 station, but it's something I'll look into. And if you'd like, any of your counselors, you come by and take a tour of the stations and
I sent an
tell us
email.
what you think.
I sent an email, but I do not remember if it was you or the old one, but I got an email a few months ago.
I don't think it was me. I tried to get back to all my emails. If I saw an email from a counselor wondering about a station.
Yeah, I think it was before you,
Okay.
yeah. But I will resend it.
Okay, yeah, send me that
Thank
email
you.
and I'll look into it tomorrow,
Thank you.
maybe tonight.
I think it's definitely for all counselors. I spent well over half a day with the fire department when I became a counselor, and it was it was great. We had a good time.
Good, it's good to hear.
I have some questions.
Sure.
First I want to go to the job application. Were you the one who filled out this application?
Which one? Which,
The city of Lawrence application for employment?
I did it online or whatever, and then when I printed it, I had some misspelled words and stuff like that. I actually had my wife do the handwriting for that, if that's the component
Okay.
that you mean.
Okay.
But there's,
All
if
right.
that's,
Thank you
if
for
that's what you're talking about.
clarifying that.
She
I
has
now-
better handwriting than me.
I'm like, this doesn't look like.
It's, you know, on the computer, you print something out on the computer, it's off the lines, it's not,
Yeah,
it just didn't look right. I want it to look professional, and you're gonna take it
Shout out
away
to
from
Mrs.
here and say,
Delaney.
I'm gonna do that, so.
Shout out to Mrs. Delaney for stepping in. Okay, I want to go to the contracts component.
Yes.
I think this might be more for the HR director, but two things. I noticed there are two dates here in the contract employment. This agreement made as of the 16th day of July 2025, which is how the contract opens with. And then, Section 2, under term, we have Patrick Delaney shall be employed for a 3-term commencing on June 1st, 2025, the initial term. I have an issue with that because we haven't even gone through we're not even done with the city council process. And this contract already says that acting Chief Delaney will be employed starting June 1st.
I think that was just a draft, nothing signed on that. I think
Okay.
if I got chosen, I think that before it got signed, those dates would reflect
Okay.
my hiring date. And then
Perfect, okay.
the rest of the stuff, I believe, is standard contractual language.
I would like to see the updated contracts at the end of this process, should acting Chief Delaney be confirmed.
Sure.
Section 3, under civil service status, where after C Exhibit A, and I'm going to read this actually for the record. Actually, sorry, it's the second sentence after C Exhibit A, so it's the next page. I'm on page 2 of 8. It's towards the back, counselors. Okay. The city also recognizes that Patrick Delaney is eligible for promotion to the position of deputy fire chief during the term of this agreement, should his name appear on a certification for any such opening. Should such a promotion occur during the term of this agreement, the attached Form 56 shall be modified to reflect Patrick Delaney's position as deputy fire chief. The city agrees to take whatever further steps are required of it to secure from Personnel Department any approval of the Patrick Delaney's promotion to deputy fire chief and subsequent leave of absence. So, the way that I'm interpreting that, and I'm gonna look at the HR director, because she's an attorney and this is a contract. The wording initially was great. We all know you are eligible for that position. Say you're not confirmed. The way that paragraph ends is that the city will do anything in its power to ensure that this individual gets the deputy fire chief position, which is not, in my opinion, not okay. Yes.
Could I speak on that? Mm-hmm. Okay. Something I teach my kids is don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to take something on and get out of your comfort zone. I scored #1 on the deputy's exam. I'm 54 years old. In this job, we could work till we're 65, okay? So I wouldn't say it would be easier for me, but if I got a deputy's position, I could work in the city for the next 11 years. I'm putting myself out there for the city of Lawrence, for the community, to take a 3-year position. After a 3-year position, and my contract, if you know, I'd be so, you know, grateful to be confirmed. But after 3 years, I may have to retire. I don't even max out. I am taking a big chance here. I am number one on the deputies list. I don't, from what I'm told, I don't relinquish that calling. So if something happened and I didn't have this position in a year or two, or say a year, and then a year and a half, it came up that a deputy's position was open, I would be eligible for that. This deputy position, you know, I put probably 200-300 hours into studying that. 11 members took it, and I was able to top that list. And the attorney that did my contract suggested that I don't give up that civil service in case something happens. It's kind of a safety net.
Right, I'm sorry,
Sorry.
since we're talking about contract, I would rather hear from the HR department. And I understand where you're coming from, and I 100% agree with that. If you don't put yourself out there, you miss opportunities. And if you miss an opportunity, then you never know what could happen. But the way that this paragraph is ending, it's not even giving, it's not even, it should have ended with you being eligible, that type of language. Not saying, and I'm going to repeat this, the city agrees to take whatever further steps are required of it to secure from personnel department any approval of the Patrick Delaney's promotion to deputy fire chief. That's where the issue lies. I would rather see a generic eligibility language, because if, and I'm taking your word from it, you know, you're number one on the list in terms of the exam, then let's have that process. Let's let that process do its thing. And I also don't want to, if this were to occur, overlook anyone that might be at the same level as you. But this contract right now states that you are the one that's going to be deputy fire chief, that the city will do everything possible to ensure that you are the one to be deputy fire chief if you're not the fire chief of the city of Lawrence.
So, if I may.
Yes.
So, one of the foundations of a contract is, first and foremost, you have an offer, acceptance, and consideration.
Right.
So, I don't know, but you also, when there's an offer and there's an acceptance, there must be an intent, and both parties must know what the intent of that contract was, or be a mutual consideration of what that contract actually says. So, if there's any paragraph within this, and most contracts do have this clause, if there's any paragraph or clause or sentence that would conflict with state law, it would be null and void, essentially. So we are still under civil service, right? So the deputy, he just explained that the deputy chief's position is governed by civil service laws, which is a state statute. So regardless if personnel is involved, we must still abide by that list that's being provided by civil service. So if he's ranked number one, we have to abide by that, or we must give cause as to why we're bypassing the candidate that's number one and going to number two. He would have appeals rights as well, which is, I think, what.
So then what I would like to see on this contract is that clarified, that he did rank number one in the test, and making sure that that is clear. Because the way it's written right now, that's not clear, and it does not look what you guys, the way, like if anyone was just reading this, does not appear the way that you guys are explaining it currently.
So I would defer to maybe some more generic language,
Okay.
because
Yeah.
and I'm not too familiar with the firefighters, I'm more familiar with the Lawrence Police Department. However, most civil service lists are only eligible for 2 years. So let's say this happened after the 2 years list. He's
wouldn't,
no longer,
yeah.
he may or may not be number one on that list. So
Okay.
I don't want to set him up for failure, nor the city for that matter.
So we can, okay, yep, so we can figure that out, that would be great.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Another thing that I have, I still have, and again, I know Acting Chief Delaney is amazing, well-qualified, and I know he would do this job amazingly. However, I still have I'm still not 100%, and for a lack of a better word, over the discussions that we had during the budget process. I personally, not personally, but as one counselor, I do not feel comfortable with a 3-year contract. I want to see a 1-year contract to see how Chief Delaney will perform and to see how he would work with the administration. I still have that discussion very fresh in my head. I want to make sure that if Acting Chief Delaney gets confirmed, that he will be fair and he will actually step up to the plate when he needs to step up to the plate and defend his department and not just do whatever the administration asks of him. That's where I stand with this contract. I don't know if the administration is open to negotiate that, probably not, but I would like that message to get back to the administration.
I will speak to the mayor's office.
Thank you. Counselors, any other questions or comments?
I will note that the discussions pertaining to the contract, especially 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, part of it is because for the most part, the position, just to get used to being in the position takes at least the transitional period is what I'm going to call it. To my knowledge, what I've spoken to other chiefs, it takes about 12 months to 18 months just to get used to that transition. Particularly if you're going from captain, deputy chiefs to a positions job, especially in this time where the chief of fire was in the position for 10 years. So it's been him for 10 years in all of his standard practices and so on and so forth. So I think that one of the reasons why a lot of times 3-year contracts in this particular situation are offered is because it's going to take the candidate at least 12 months to 18 months just to transition into the position, to get used to the budget, to get used to the personnel, and so on and so forth.
I understand that. So 2 things. You just proved my point from earlier when you listed the hierarchy, captain, deputy, and chief. So again, we skipped over some deputy chiefs, but
Again, I want to reiterate that those deputy chiefs did not apply. They had the chance to apply and they didn't.
we had one.
Correct, and he
had
did not have the amount of experience that the current candidate that's sitting in front of you.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification.
Chief Delaney has over 20 years of experience. When you're referring to, and I know exactly who you're referring
So
to.
I'm not talking about Chief Delaney's experience, when I clearly have stated multiple times that I know that he's well qualified. But I also understand the hierarchy of things, and I also understand backdoor conversations that have occurred around this again.
So I don't want to get into backdoor conversations that I'm, one, not privy to and have nothing to do with. What I can tell you is the person that is standing in front of you, which is the person that we are seeking to confirm, has the necessary experience, training, and background to
And Director,
to
have
fulfill this.
I denied that once during this
No,
session?
you have not, and I
Okay,
give
thank
that-
you.
that
So let's
credit to
move
you.
forward. And so again, I understand it takes 12 to 18 months for someone to adapt to this position. But I am going to reiterate, if the message to the administration about, at least how this counselor feels to see how the 1 year goes, more than happy after that. If they agree, if they don't, I understand they're privy to their decision, but.
Madam Chair, would you allow me
acting-
to speak on that shortly,
Yeah.
please? I appreciate what you're saying. I think one of the things that they did put in there would have an evaluation after every year, a yearly evaluation. And I think that's very standard. Like a 3-year contract would be one of the shortest things. I mean, I'd like a 5 or 6 year contract. I'm willing to accept a 3-year contract, is because, as the personnel director said, it does take a lot when you're coming in on any position. And I think from being in fire prevention and being in the administrative side, not the suppression side, the deputy chiefs, they're all great. They do a very good job. They're on the suppression side. I've been on the suppression side and the administration side. I've seen it both ways. I have worked with Chief Moriarty closely for years. I have different ideas. I have different things from him. We always tell our new people coming in, our new firefighters, men and women, that it takes 3 years before you even feel comfortable on the job. If you get promoted to lieutenant, you get promoted to captain, it takes a couple really years to feel yourself out. I've already been in this position for 3 months. I'm not even scratching the surface of what I plan to do, what I'd like to do. Again, it almost like, not say the easy route, but I'm really putting myself out there with taking this, because after this 3-year contract, if I'm put out in the cold, I have to retire. It would be easier for me. I don't think it would benefit the community, but it would be easier to me to step aside, let somebody else take it, and work as a deputy chief the next 11 years. I'm not ready to do that for the community. I don't think that's what the community deserves. The language in there, I think, doing everything they meant, if to me to be able to do that, they'd have to give me a leave of absence every year. I mean, a one-year contract would be very extremely difficult for me to do, and for the reasons that you have, you could ask anybody. I'm not going to step aside and let anybody, bully or do anything to one of the members of our fire department. I've worked too long, too hard for this community to just let that happen. I've been through probably 5 or 6 chiefs, and I've been through about 6 of 7 administrations. You know what? The fire department is we call it like shelf life. Unfortunately, a lot of people are like, in the city are like loaves of bread. We're cans of soup. We're here to stay. We're here to stay. We live on our record. We rule with integrity. Some of our core values are integrity, respect, compassion, valor, safety, dedication. We don't bend that for anybody. We don't bend it for any administration. We don't bend it for any outsiders. As a firefighters, we stick together. And I respect what you say, Madam Chair, but it would be really difficult for me to step into this position without at least a 3-year record. Again, I'm going to have a evaluation at the end of the year, and that's one of the things the administration wanted. They wanted to put that on me in the contract. That wasn't in the contract, and it got written in that I have to get a job performance review, and at the end of that year, that job performance review, I don't score well, they have mechanisms to take care of that. But it would honestly, Madam Chair and councilors, be very difficult for me to leave what I'm doing right now and not have a 3-year commitment, as after these 3 years, I may have to go find another job, because I would have to retire. I'm 54, 55, 56, 57. I've been on 26 years. I don't even max out. But that's the chance I'm willing to take for this community, and to be able to lead this fire department and this community. I'm putting myself out there, and the chance I'm willing to take, I'd respectfully ask the chance to do it and have the minimum 3-year contract.
If someone can point me out, because I'm not seeing it here, where the evaluation, on what page of the contract the evaluation is on. So you made a comment about, not allowing bullying, anything like that. My concern doesn't come from that. My concern comes from the discussions that happened in this chamber during the budget hearing. Additionally, as of right now, the city doesn't even have an evaluation process. That was another thing that was discussed. So I'm hoping that with you, they have that up and ready.
So hearing that, Council, you'd be glad to say that I've had a meeting with our training captain, and I've heard it several times during budget negotiations. I think the personnel director was called up and asked if we had an evaluation performance. I instructed our training captain to develop one, and I believe he has. I told him that I wanted him to pick one unit with no names, the deputy could evaluate the captain's gonna evaluate the lieutenant is gonna evaluate the firefighters. It's a pilot program. I heard that during the budget negotiations. I figured it would be coming out sometime, so I took that step to create that. And if you may allow me to ask you, Madam Chair, I honestly don't remember saying anything during the budget commissions or any time that the administration could do whatever they want, because if anybody knows me from the fire service, from my thing, that's just not possible. When things aren't safe, if you ask anybody in the community, we always find a common ground, and that's what I think me and my team in the fire department is very good at doing. But again, people can't do whatever they want, whether it's somebody in the city, whether it's a contractor, whether it's somebody in city government. Where we put our foot down is safety. And I'm not gonna bend for anybody when it comes to the safety of this community. As I said, my main duty is to protect the citizens of the city of Lawrence. And at any time that anything comes down and that safety is in jeopardy, I'm not gonna fold. I've been here too long, and I've thought I built myself a good reputation, and I'm not gonna just fold because somebody wants to do anything. And I'm just honest with the council when I said, I don't really remember stating those words. Those words wouldn't be spoken by me.
So I definitely, I do believe that you will never jeopardize the overall city safety. I know that. Not believe, I know that. I know that from your work. Where I'm coming from the discussions, particularly when we were discussing the deputy, I was gonna say police. It's always about
Would be what?
the deputy fire chief's position. That is where comments like that were made in terms of what the administration believes if we need this or not. But
That was my thing to put it in. Again, I put 200-300 hours into that deputy's position, and it was kind of just a safety net that I was told by somebody good in civil service law, said, once you leave civil service, if you're on that list, you don't leave, you don't give up those rights. So if this didn't work out in a while and I was on the deputy chief's thing, then I would be eligible as of civil service law. But even again, that language, it all gets very tricky. It's hard to enforce, and I believe anything would be, they'd have to give me a leave of absence. And that would have to be something filled out every year. So I believe you give me a leave of absence for this year, that paperwork would have to be filed and get again to civil service. But anytime you come back into civil service, you're governed by civil service law. The personnel department, the administration, they can't do anything when it comes to civil service. That's in Boston at 1 Ashburton Place, and they have their own rules. And it's a lot of it is for protection. I've been in the fire department 26 years, and I've earned a little bit of that job security and protection. So the intent isn't to deceive anybody. It isn't to hide the ball, to trick anybody. It's to try to give me a little bit of reassurance. And to tell you the truth, I don't think that would really ever come into play. I'd hope that I'd get a 3-year contract. I'd hope I'd do such an amazing job and assist this community and move this fire department forward where they'd want to give me another 3 years. That would be my goal. If I fail at that goal, I'm going to have to retire in 3 years. It's the least that really makes it, me to really put myself out there. Again, I consider myself young, but I'm 54 years old, and I won't be maxed out. When you don't max out in the fire service, you have to be 55 at 32 years. With my 26, 27, 8, 29, I'm leaving 3 years on the table. That's a lot of money. And it's not about the money. That's not what I'm making this about. I told my family this, that I'm willing to put myself out there. My wife thinks I'm a little bit crazy for doing it and giving up this opportunity, and it's a lot different it's a lot different role. There's a lot of responsibility. There's a lot of eyes on you. There's a lot of things. It's a lot of dedication. One thing I already miss about my job in fire prevention is I used to be out in the community a lot more. Now I do that out in the community where you see me on my spare time and my own time after hours. When I got here at 5:30 and didn't start to 6, I took a walk down the street to El Vago. I saw about 6 people on Essex Street that I just know from the community. I talked to 2 or 3 strangers just to say, hey, what do you guys think about the community? What's your favorite place? Interacting with people. That's what I've done my whole career. I talk to the homeless. I talk to people walking down the street. Anytime we go into a place, I engage people. And if you've ever been out in the community with me, you see that I engage people, and I truly care for the city of Lawrence and your constituents and our fire department that is, one of the hardest working fire departments in the Commonwealth. And we're respected as one of the hardest with the most integrity in the Commonwealth. Wherever we go, Lawrence has a good record because we're a busy, hardworking firefighting service. We're respected everywhere that we go. And that's not because of me, it's because of the people that came up before us. So I have a job to teach the younger people that are coming up for me is how we do it. How do we do it? We work hard and we respect the people. We can't forget that we're public servants. We serve the public. That's my job, to serve the public and protect the public. And that's what I've done, and if chosen, that's what I'm going to continue to do.
Thank you. I do have one more question, but it's not, I
Sure.
promise it's not a difficult question. But to wrap up, I guess the difficult questioning on my end.
Yeah.
I don't know, there were times when as you were defending yourself, and even as the HR director was defending you, I was just smiling, I was just like smirking.
Yeah.
And it's because, and I did this with the police chief as well. I ask these tough questions because I want to see how you defend yourself.
Yeah.
Because the way that the applicant in front of us defends themselves, to me, is an indicator how they're going to defend their subordinates.
Sure.
And I was happy, that's why I was smiling. You defended yourself, you gave us examples, that's what I want to see. Also, I asked these questions to see how you will defend yourself under political pressure, because this is basically kind of political pressure.
Sure.
And you did well. There's still some things we're gonna agree to disagree, but overall, I appreciate your response. I appreciate your thorough thought process and the examples that you provided.
Thank you.
And as I mentioned throughout this session, I do not believe that you cannot do the job. There might be some concerns, but overall, I do not believe that you cannot do the job. So with that, I'm gonna wrap up the difficult questioning, and then I'm gonna end my questioning with, how are you going to support our amazing group that has taken fire prevention education from the city of Lawrence to across the nation? I'm talking about Station 8. Station 8 is an amazing program that we have here. I know the previous fire chief supported them strongly. He would always talk about them during neighborhood associations. It's an amazing platform that was created here in our city.
Yes.
And I don't want to see that go away.
Yes, that's a great question. So Station 8, when they first came out, there was a lot of talk around the firehouses, why they were doing it, what they were doing, and again, change is hard in the fire service, and they were doing something outside of their comfort zone, and they were doing something for the community. So people started asking me, as the captain of fire prevention, something that they were doing is, what are they doing your job? They're doing your job. Why aren't you doing what you do? So I always take the high ground, and I said, fire prevention is everybody's job. That's what I told any member that came up to me, that I said fire prevention is everybody's job. Then I took it one step further. I went up to Engine 8. I met with the members of Engine 8, Station 8, and I explained to them that I fully truly, wholeheartedly, as the captain, support you. And then I said that I am getting a lot of stuff, and maybe one of the answers would be, if you'd like for me to appear in one of your videos, one of your educational things, or some other people for fire prevention, let's do that, because then that'll show that if they see me or one of our members in fire prevention in one of their videos, I'd stop getting the questions. Well, they wouldn't ask me, what do I think? Well, I'm in their video. They do something that's very unique. They do something that the city is proud of. And we've met with them, and they see, somebody in Montana, they got a picture of a little kid dancing and doing something. Anything that's good for this community, anything that's good for the Lawrence Fire Department, I'm gonna support it, and I support them. Any support that they need, and I think if you ask them themselves if they think I support them, you should have a conversation with them. I believe they're all bright young men. I think they all have a great future. They're gonna be future leaders of our fire department. And again, these are lifelong jobs. These are all, young kids, and it's gonna take them a little while. One of them's a lieutenant. We're hoping he's gonna become a captain. One of the firefighters is on the list to become a lieutenant. When you come in, it doesn't happen overnight. It really takes, it takes 10, 15, 20, 25 years to get to some of these positions. And those members have my support 100%, and I think they're gonna be future leaders of the department, again, because they're showing initiative. They're stepping outside their comfort zone. They're doing something that not everybody agrees with, and I respect them for that.
Thank you.
Madam
All
Chair,
right, Councilor Luzon.
if I may, Director Garcia, would you, I just want to make, okay, clarify something about the contract. The first page of the contract terms, it looks like, and I'm an attorney, you know that, but it looks like, the way I'm reading this, that every year, the mayor will have an opportunity to renew the contract. It looks like it ends. It goes into, if I understand this correctly, go to terms, in page 1, at the end, it says, a contract year shall mean each 12 months period. And then it starts giving us dates, but it's a block of a year. So that means that the fire chief has to go, they're gonna do I'm losing so basically, every year the mayor has an opportunity to end this contract? Based on his performance?
So it's a 3-year term, and the mayor has the right to review his performance yearly. And on the second review, in the second year review, the mayor shall inform the chief of his or her desire to extend the contract beyond the 3rd year. Right,
So, but what we have in front of us now is a 3-year contract.
that's correct.
And it has to be reviewed every year.
His performance. is
Performance,
reviewed.
yes.
That's correct.
Okay. So
Not the contract itself.
not the contract itself. So
Yes.
every year, the mayor is going to review his performance.
That's correct.
And based on that, he can terminate this job or continue with the contract, based on his performance.
Based on his performance.
Okay. So I just wanted to, for the people that are watching, and I know Madam Chair has a concern with the 3 years, but I also understand job security. I don't think personally that we should be, an employee should be subject to a year contract based on their financial responsibility. And what I see in front of me is that if something doesn't go well, and I don't think it's gonna happen, we know Captain Delaney, Chief Delaney, we know his commitment to the community. We know he's capable, and he has experience. And yes, I have some concerns in the way interviews and advertisement take place, but it's just my personal opinion. Because I was not there, I cannot speak on behalf of that. But what I have in front of me, it's an opportunity for the mayor to review the chief performance, and if it's not working, he will move on and terminate. I think we don't want that to happen, Chief Delaney. But also, we should offer job security, especially in this time that things are shifting one way to the other so quickly, and the economy is not what we want to see. But it looks like that here, it explains a little bit to myself, and explains that it's the 3 years, it's fair enough based on the details that I have in front of me.
So if I may, pertaining to your question, if you turn your attention to termination, which is on page 5 of 8, the mayor may terminate, and I'm reading off of the second paragraph, the mayor may terminate this agreement before the expiration of the term as provided in section 3.7B of the city charter. However, any request for removal made by the mayor to the city council shall be for cause only. So we have to, in order for the mayor to remove the chief, he would have to come in front of yourselves and must have a vote from the city, from the city council in order to be able to remove him. And it must be for cause only.
And that's
Just
part,
cause, excuse me.
that's part of our city charter.
correct.
So we need a 5 majority vote to confirm someone, as you guys, the council knows, and a 6 supermajority vote in order to remove someone from a department head position.
So, thank you, Madam Chair, for clarifying that, and thank you, Director. I just wanted to go over this so people that are watching understand what we have in front of us, but also they understand Madam Chair's concern. I don't agree with that, but it's a fair concern. My other, it's not a question, it's a concern. It's knowing that we have so many neighborhood associations, a few, not like before. And I read here that it's his responsibility also is to be the liaison between duties. Number 6, I have glasses and I don't see it very well. It says one of the chief duties will be to serve as a liaison between the city, number 6, I was reading number 5. Do you see number 6?
Yes.
And it says, between the fire department and other individuals and agencies, public and private. Does any way to add neighborhood associations in there? Yet like that? Is that a possibility?
I can absolutely ask the mayor's
Yeah.
office.
And yes, and if he's not able to, he should
And
send.
obviously the chief, is he would, we
Well,
would
the
have to
chief.
have mutual
I say-
consideration.
Yeah, well, I'm just putting it out there for future reference. It's important to keep that communication open between any department of the city and the neighborhood associations. Neighborhood associations are not, don't belong to any councilors. We also get invited, and sometimes we help here and there, providing maybe water, OT, but they have their own board. And trying to mix the politics with the neighborhood association is not fair for the community, because the chief knows, we all know how important it is to keep the communication open and be there for the constituents, because they are the ones that pay for salaries and for some other stuff that, the privilege that we have in the city, if we do. So if possible, Attorney Garcia, Director Garcia, to add it, just for future reference.
I can certainly
Yeah, bring you
speak to the
the
mayor's office,
concern.
but I can tell you that if that is a concern, I think because it is stated and all other individuals and agencies, public and private agencies, I believe would probably encompass neighborhood.
Just bring the concern, I would like to see neighbor associations, just to be safe, to be in the safe side. If the mayor doesn't agree with that, we understand, but please bring our concern,
Yes, certainly.
my concern as a counselor, to the mayor's office. But thank you so much for clarifying that, the first part,
Absolutely.
terms.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Attorney Garcia, have you, I know you mentioned during the budget process that you were looking into creating the,
Performance.
yes. How is that going?
That is one of my bigger projects alongside with updating our employee handbook, which is dated from 2007, 2006, something along those lines. I just know it's very, very old. However, right now I'm negotiating with over 13 unions at a time, so alongside with dealing over with 600 employees.
Got it.
So just bear with me, please.
Got it.
While I get
Thank
through
you.
this bargaining season.
Thank you, Councilor Luzon.
Can you please add the union letter to the package? The letter, well, the press release, the press
I will
release.
try to find it. I know
Yes.
that I personally saw it.
Okay,
And I can, or I can reach out to
yes.
President Martin.
Yeah, it will be good for the other counselors to see it, you know, I know they're gonna have questions. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Director.
Any other questions, or do you have, Captain?
As
Chief
sta-
Delaney,
as
sorry.
stated, I did hear that during the budget meetings, and again, I instructed our training captain to come up with the model. The fire department is in process of doing, evaluations, performance evaluations, and any of our findings, I'd be happy to share with the personnel department. It's something that a lot of communities do. It gets a little bit tricky doing it internal. We have a meeting about it, and again, we already have this in place, and we already have some wording, and we've already done one to one of our companies, because we heard about it and figured we'd get ahead of it before it's mandated on us. We'll, start the process.
Now that he just brought that up. One of the harsh realities of working in municipalities is the fact that every little detail that management or the city administrators want to include, for a lack of a better term, you have to bargain for it. So here's the time where we do have to probably bargain for, if we are going to start doing performance reviews, is bargain with the unions. Because we don't want 13, 14, 15 different unions grieving it. We want a uniform alongside with the employee handbook. I can work for hours on the employee handbook, and if the unions don't want to agree to it, that's something that we're gonna have to deal with at some other time. But I do want to put that on the record, that some of these things we have to encompass the fact that a lot of our city employees are union members, and all of these things have to be bargained for, so.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. I think, any other comments or questions? I think this wraps up the interview, the council committee interview.
I appreciate it, and I just want to close with, I respect you guys immensely. I think you do a very good job for your constituents. I've known you guys for some years. You put your hearts into the community and your constituents, and I know your job isn't easy. And anything that you need from me, whether I'm in this position or another position, you ask me, and I'll do everything I can for you in the community. And I think you know that.
Thank you. You beat me to the closing statement, but I wanted to thank both of you guys for your patience. As always, none of this is personal. The questions, at least for me, they come before, or I already can anticipate the type of questioning I'm going to receive after a meeting, and I might not know the answer to, so I rather hit the ground running with the tough
Okay.
questions, have an answer, and not anticipate or speak for anyone or, anything like that. But, thank you.
You're welcome.
Counselors,
Thank you.
at this time, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to send to full council with a favorable recommendation.
Motion to send to the full council the favorable recommendation made by Counselor Luzon, seconded by Counselor Santiago. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye, and the ayes have it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We will see you August 6th.
Oh,
Yeah,
see you August
Tuesday,
6th.
Tuesday's National Night Out, I think
You'll
is the
see me
5th,
there,
so-
yeah? We'll be there.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Can I have a motion to adjourn? A motion has been made by Councilor Luzon, seconded by Councilor Santiago. All those in favor say aye. Aye, and the ayes have it. Good night.
Go home and see you.